Yo, that's right. It's everybody's favorite time of the week. It is time for the 1 Nil Show. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot wait to bring you another delicious show coming right up. We've got Fruity's five things that caught my eye from the weekend. And I tell you what, looking at the paper, this might be the most controversial top five yet. So we'll get to that. And then we've got obviously the Premier League preview. And you can see on the menu right now why Manchester United will win the league. I'm going to leave it at that. And then, as we know, the best segment, aka everybody's favorite fantasy, Fruity's Fantasy. I had a stinker last week, so stick around to see what changes I'm going to have to make. If you do enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe to the business. It really helps the channel grow, makes me make better videos as well. So I'll see you on the flip side. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. Thank you for joining me once again. We've got Fruity's 5. But before we do get into that, if you do like and enjoy the video, please subscribe to the channel. It's all going to help me make better content in the future. And with holidays coming up soon, it's good vibes only. That's right. So Fruity's 5, if you're new, 5 things from the weekend that caught my eye. Okay, focusing on the Premier League. And number 1, we've got none other than the man, Jay Lings. And how good is it to see? Now, I know I'm a United fan, bit of bias, whatever. But if there's a player who purely thrives off confidence, and you can tell he's a very emotional player, it's Jesse Lingard. Coming off what he did in the Champions League against the Young Boys, where he made a terrible pass back, went through our defense, we lost the game 2-1, which, his mistake, so he'd be feeling a lot of the pressure. To come on against West Ham, the team where he was on a 6-month loan out last season, and got him back grooving. It was a very I think it's a monumental moment for him. And you might go like, all right, chill. But you can tell I said it before, he's an emotional player. And he would have been down in the dumps during the week after the Champions League game. He would have been down in the dumps feeling it. And unfortunately would have copped, abuse on media, all that sort of stuff. To come out, score a top-class goal against West Ham in the dying moments of the game, to then see us go and win 2-1. Beautiful. And David De Gea, similar stories here. De Gea was getting a lot of stick. He had a poor Europa League final where he missed a penalty last season, obviously, once again, coming to be the hero. So we're seeing a lot of, these players picking themselves up from where they came. And I know these two aren't the only ones, but then putting in a good shift and reaping the rewards, which you love to see. So Jay Lings, huge. Come on, the boys. Next up, we're going to go from 2 sort of different climaxes. Harry Kane does not want to be at Tottenham. Does not want to be there. Someone of his quality has been terrible so far. And I know we're judging a small sample size, but watching the game against Chelsea, couldn't get into it. Okay, against Palace the week before, couldn't get into it. And it's become that sort of thing where it's like, all right, it's hard to ignore the fact that he wanted to leave the club a month ago, and now his performances aren't really showing. So maybe he didn't have enough training. Maybe all these trainings that he missed out on. It's almost like he needed one more week of training, if you know what I mean. So, Harry Kane, Tottenham fans, I want you to let me know, what do you think? Because he really, I saw a stat before, Joel Matip has had more touches in the box than Harry Kane has. So Harry Kane really struggling to get firing. Maybe he does just need that one goal, that early goal, to set him off, like a bit of a Jadon Sancho, a bit of a confidence booster. Okay. Maybe those are 2 players that need to find their first goal to then start going. But Harry Kane, you expect a lot more from him. Now we're going to go to Man City, talking about Harry Kane and Man City. Manchester City, man. I said last week they're going to regret not having an outright striker. They drew to Southampton. Southampton twice now they've picked up points from Manchester team. Man City they couldn't get into groove. Like, it was there, but it wasn't there. It just felt like it just needed squeezing. It feels like, I don't know, something about it. Just like, okay, what's going on? Southampton, credit to them, put in a very good shift. But Man City, is it a repeat of last season where they started off slowly? People started to count them out of the game, and then bang, they did well and won the league. Is it a repeat of that? Is it a repeat of last season? Or is it really, teams are getting better? Man City maybe didn't improve in areas that they needed to, like that striker position, and they're sort of seeing it. I don't know about Jack Grealish, boys. Don't know about him. I'm not going to say I never liked him, but I think he was a great player, exceptional player, but I was never fully on board with the Jack Grealish hype. Does he work at a Man City? I don't know. I'll leave that to you guys. Drop it in the comments down below. Is Grealish really what Manchester City needed? And if they had their time again, do they sign him? I'll leave it at that. Next up, Mo Salah deserves more respect, and it pains me to say I'm a United fan. I hate Liverpool, but Mo Salah deserves more respect. Scoring a goal again on the weekend, not scoring, but what I mean. Very good performances, mate, and breaking, scoring the 100 goals for Liverpool as Mane just did. Salah just stood out. A lot of Liverpool fans were saying a couple of years ago, "Nah, Mane is actually the better one." Salah's too good, and I reckon he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder this year because people are talking about Kevin De Bruyne, Jack Grealish, Romelu Lukaku, Cristiano Ronaldo, Jadon Sancho. Salah's sort of sitting there, hey, I've never left. As Daniel Ricciardo said, I've never left. So Mo Salah, big. And then we're going to go to my fifth one, Fruity's number 5. Adama Traore is just a big Dan James, and I might cop a bit of criticism for that. He's got a lot of fans. I love him. Seems like a good guy. I'd love to go on a night out with Adama Traore. I'd probably steal my girls, but it's okay. That's fine, Adama. We can do that. I'd feel comfortable around him as well as a big boy. Honestly, he gets the ball, dribbles to the line, can't put a ball in. Okay, he screams Dan James. Dan James was the exact same. Dan James will get the ball, dribble, bang, 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 so fast, extremely rapid, hard to defend sometimes. All right, relax. Can't put a ball in, can't finish. Adama's that. He's very difficult to defend. I'm not saying he isn't. He's a huge boy. He can get he knows how to use his body, obviously, which is what you want when you're such a unit like that. But I think we've got to get off this hype train of Adama Traore. People, a couple of years ago, people were saying he could be going to United. He could be worth 60-odd mil. I think if he moves somewhere else, he's going for a Dan James price of 20, 25, 30 mil, if that. So let me know in the comments down below. Adama Traore, are you still on his hype train? Are people just sort of bashing him for no reason? Or is he just a Dan James alternative? Let me know in the comments down below. Now we're going to get into the Premier League preview. Premier League preview. How good is football? How good is football? And if you got this far, please make sure to like and subscribe. Do all that business. I want to hit 1K subs. 1K subs is my dream. So let's do it. Premier League preview. First up, Chelsea versus City. And if you are in Australia and you're watching the AFL Grand Final, it's difficult because it's a 9:30 game and it is a cracking 9:30 game. So part of me hopes that the Grand Final's done ski by then, but we'll move on. Chelsea are the team to beat. I said it last week. It was a thumbnail last week. Chelsea are the team to beat. As a United fan, where I don't think we've played that well really at all this season, Chelsea is just consistent. And when they're not maybe performing the best, they can still remain solid and hold it. They've got depth for days. Thiago Silva, what a signing. Who would have thought someone coming for that, at that age to be so important. Tony Rudiger is really establishing himself as one of the best defenders in the league, one of the best in the world. I'm not saying he is, but establishing himself as one of the best in the world. People say, yeah, it's in a 5-back, but you've got to work in different environments, okay? Because you put if you put every centre back in a 5-back, I don't think Harry Maguire would. I think it would work in a back 5, but once that back 5 turns into a back 3, it's interesting. It's an interesting playing field. So full credit to Chelsea's defense. Thomas Tuchel, I'd say, is the best manager currently in the Premier League. Like, basing on form, whatever. Not what I think currently Thomas Tuchel takes that. And Chelsea are scary. They're scary. Romelu Lukaku is scary. I listened talking to Matty Boy today, friend of the channel, family of the channel. He was saying Mount and Havertz were very poor and haven't been that good this season. So once they start hitting form as well, could be scary days. They're up against a City team, and a City team that I'm not too convinced by. Even though they maybe haven't been playing as well as what they possibly could, defensively they've still been quite solid. Goals is what they've scored a lot as well. But against a team like Chelsea, I don't see I don't see City winning this, and I think Chelsea will win it. And I could be falling into the trap of underestimating Chelsea, Manchester City once again. Sorry, but I'm huge. I don't want to say it. I hate saying it. I'm huge on Chelsea, boys. I'm huge on Chelsea. They're just all across the park, extremely solid. Lukaku, I had my doubts about him. Take it back. I'm allowed to change my opinion. I had my doubts, but Lukaku, mate, it's all looking good, and they got depth. Chilwell can't get into the team. Yeah, they've got Reece James on the right. They're rotating the centre backs. Christensen can't, play last week. Can't really get it. Assuming Edouard Mendy is fit to play against City, I think Chelsea win this 2-0. I think Chelsea could really win this game 2-0. City they've dropped a couple more points once again. and it means Chelsea haven't dropped points, and they continue their fine form into the season. Now, speaking of a team that's on fine form, it's Manchester United, baby. Manchester United versus Villa at the same time as Chelsea versus City. Villa coming off a very, very good 3-0 win last week. Leon Bailey coming on, getting an assist, scoring, then coming off injured, gets man of the match. What more do you want? Sounds like a good night at the office to me. Whereas you got Manchester United. Tell you what, we've got a target on our backs, don't we? And I love it. I love it when people don't want us to win. I do love it because I copped a bit of criticism for this, sending it to the group chat, but going down 1-0 in that game and in that context is what we needed. Now, I know on paper we shouldn't go down 1-0, okay? That United team shouldn't have to go down and lose a game to then, come back. But sometimes that's what you need. Not a champion team doesn't win every single game and win and start every game 1-0. You know what I mean? You've got to find yourself out. The difference is, and from a United fan who's watched every game religiously, as opposed to maybe like a Man City fan or Tottenham fan who hasn't watched every single game. United of 2-3 seasons ago go down 1-0 to West Ham and struggle to get back into it. We drop our heads. We struggle to create chances. We struggle to find goals. Okay, I said it. I said we needed this because in that context of the game, it was slow. The ball movement was slow. West Ham was steamrolling through the midfield, creating opportunities. Ben Rama was having a field day. But bang. Okay, shit. Let's go and score a goal. We did just that. Yes, it's a cheap goal, but a goal's a goal. If it's in the back of the net, it's in the back of the net. Thanks for coming. Take it back to the middle of the pitch. So that's what the point I'm trying to get across is. It's what champions teams do. Chelsea had to do it in the Champions League, sort of graft a win. Okay, Liverpool had to do it when they won the league. City had to do it. All teams have to do it. You have to go, okay, we maybe weren't as strong today, but once we do go down 1-0, how can we reset and how can we come back to try and find a result? Obviously, David De Gea smashed it with the penalty save. Sent a video which will not be exposed to the boys, and oh my God, I was gassed. David De Gea, and again, I mentioned it before in Frouty's 5, it's a player you're glad to see. And he's been on fine form. He's been on very good form this season. And the only unfortunate thing is we're conceding a goal here and there. That's the only unfortunate thing. But, 2-1 win. Could have easily been a 2-2 draw. I think it was a deserving win. Jesse Lingard, huge stuff. I take it. And that's my sort of point. You look at us a couple of years ago where we were, these sort of games are games that we lose. Okay, they're games where, we're 1-0 down. What do we do? We're looking for answers. Whereas here now, it's, bang, okay, that's fine. Let's go score the goal. Let's have a bit of fun. So I think United should win. It's not going to be an easy game at Old Trafford, though. The Ronaldo hype is still there. Sancho, is he going to start? Sancho really needs just that one goal just to kick him off. That one goal, that one assist, that one good game. You can go, okay, sweet. I'm home. I'm comfortable. Let's do it. Because Rashford's going to come back soon. So it's a lot of depth in that attacking position and a lot of questions of who plays and who doesn't. Then we've got to get into, so I'm going to go United for the win. I'm a bit biased, but it's not going to be easy. Then we've got Arsenal, Tottenham. Wow, relegation battle. I'll tell you what. Arsenal, decent win. Tomiyasu, I might have butchered the name, the Japanese fullback, big fan. Arsenal fans, don't jump on him just because maybe he's not, your standard Gunners player. Mate, I like him. I'm not going to jump and say he's good, blah, blah, blah. Still young. I think Tomiyasu could be a bit of a baller for Arsenal at the end of the season. A lot of Arsenal fans could be looking and saying, hey, that was a good signing. He's decent. So, and from what I know, I haven't seen him play a lot, obviously, but from what I know, he can play on the fullback, play in the centre back when they need. So I think that's decent for Arsenal. Tottenham, on the other hand, defensively just a mess, man. Defensively not good. Tanganga should come back in. I think Tanganga is probably the best defender at Tottenham, and by defender I mean one-on-one defending, body on body. So against an Arsenal, maybe you're really looking at a team where you're coming up against an Arsenal team whose attack is good on its day. Tottenham's attack, which is good on its day, but haven't been able to, like Harry Kane that I mentioned before. And you're looking at two defenses where if they do get exposed, they're exposed. I was going to say a joke, but I can't say it. They're exposed quite badly. So I personally think Arsenal at Emirates will take the win. They've got a bit of momentum now, coming off a couple of wins, couple of results. Yes, against weaker position, but they've got it back a little bit. Whereas Tottenham are coming off 2 3-0 wins in a row, 2 3-0 losses in a row. Sorry, so I think Tottenham Maybe the team morale struggling a bit. It's going to be huge for Nuno. What can he do now? Okay, because Tottenham fans wanted Mourinho out. Mourinho very rarely concedes 3. Tottenham now just conceded 3-0 losses back-to-back games. So it's going to be very interesting. I personally think Arsenal could get the win. I'm going to go 2-1. And I think this will be a good game in the sense of it's quite even. You're maybe not going to see the world-class football on display, but I think it's going to be a good game because you're going to go, okay, you know what? Arsenal have got something to prove. Tottenham have got something to prove. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a smacking from one team. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see an Arsenal bang 3-0, 4-0. I think either way, whoever loses this, it's going to be huge talking points. I think Tottenham fans could already be screaming. In a derby like this, the pressure's on. The pressure cooker, it's dialed up all the way. So it's going to be very interesting. That's going to wrap us up for the Premier League preview. Next up, why Manchester United will win the league. So before we do get into that, make sure like and subscribe if you've got to this point. If you're new, thank you for joining. It's going to be huge. Why Manchester United will win the league. So I know what you're thinking. Relax, okay? Relax. Maybe you mustn't be saying, Costa, you're jumping the gun. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm a United fan. Maybe I'm not. Now, I've got to be careful. No, I don't have to be careful, man. United's win the league, okay? And I mentioned it before in the Premier League preview, if you caught that, okay, on the One Nil Show. Like and subscribe. A good team can graft wins. And I know it's very early days. I know I may be jumping the gun, but a good team can graft wins. I think United have got, it almost feels like a Fergie team, okay? Because with Fergie, we had those players that you could bring off the bench, okay? And you couldn't really tell, okay, now the bench players. Jesse Lingard could be a huge asset. And I know people might be saying, oh, if he didn't have that game against West Ham, then you wouldn't be saying that because of what he did at Champions League. No, I messaged one of the boys that the other week, before the Newcastle game. He can really be an asset if his form is up there and if his, emotionally is all good, his confidence is high. Jesse Lingard could be a huge asset. When we saw that against West Ham. So we've got people, competition is a good thing. And that's what we didn't have for a while. Once Rashford's back, okay, listen to this. Greenwood, Martial, Lingard, Sancho, Marcus Rashford, Cavani, Ronaldo are all fighting for a spot in the front three. All those players. Now, yes, you go, okay, Ronaldo's the lock. Other than that, I don't think anyone is a lock. I know what you're saying, oh, Sancho, he was your big signing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but he's young. We don't need to rush him. We need him, but he doesn't have to play every single game. Okay, he can play on the right and we can put Rashford on the left. Or Sancho can maybe start on the bench. We can start Rashford on the left, Greenwood on the right. There is so many different alternative ways we can have that front three to work. Cavani could shift to the left for if he comes on later in the game, trying to give in deliveries to Ronaldo. Ronaldo can even jump on the other side as well. Ronaldo's playing a very Ruud van Nistelrooy sort type player, poaching, goal poaching in the box. He's close to the keeper. Yes, it's been helped a couple of times before you trolls get out there because you little sooks, but a goal's a goal. So the amount of depth but more importantly, the competition. I think the competition is huge. Now, the only thing is they're young players. Rashford's still 23 years old, 24, whatever it is. Sancho's still young. Greenwood's still young. Jesse Lingard's still young. Joking. Jesse Lingard's the oldest out of all of them. But like I said before, I've said 100 times in this video, he's a confidence player. So the only thing is, and I think Martial, I can't lie, I think he's done. I feel sorry for him. He's not going to play. The closest he's going to get to touching a ball is when he shakes the ball boy's hand and rubs the ball after that. That's about it. So the competition is a good thing. Okay, playing under Ronaldo is another thing. It's a completely different thing. People were skeptical how many goals he's going to score this year. He's already scored 4 and 3. Okay, so, again, you're going to say it, blah, 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 blah. Shut up. He scored 4 goals. Okay, brilliant. That's already what we want. He's poaching. I often think once people start saying, oh yeah, but blah, 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 would you rather Martial up there trying to poach those goals in or Cristiano Ronaldo? Yep, thank you. So would I. Cristiano Ronaldo. Exactly. I agree. Well done. So there's also that. There's a confidence factor that that has to do with playing with Ronaldo. Okay, there's a confidence factor with knowing that, okay, I can give the ball to Ronaldo and there's a fair chance he's going to do something. Not every time, but there's a fair chance he's going to do something good with it. I give the ball to, with all due respect, to Martial, yeah, there's a fair chance he can do something with it, but at the same time, I've got to be aware because there's a chance he might lose it. Now, there's that factor that comes into it. There's also the other factor of we've got a target on our backs, boys. Okay, you're Cristiano Ronaldo team. You've spent a lot of money across not just this year, but across the years. A lot of you are big name players: Rafael Varane, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, Paul Pogba. They're big name players. They're big brand players as well. Paul Pogba's huge. So you've got that sort of thing. You've got to get a lot more neutrals watching the games. You've got to get a lot more competition watching the United games. Okay, you've got people out there to lose. I think I heard the West Ham fans at one point booing Cristiano Ronaldo when he got the ball. Half of these people would have had a slit in their hair when a couple of years ago when Cristiano Ronaldo was banging goals for Real Madrid. So already it's a bit of the jealousy sort of thing because it's like, oh damn, I wish it was, I wish it would like box office like this. But at the same time, it's hey, you have to be good. Look at you. No more excuses now. You've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coaching you. Okay, no, can't blame him anymore. Look at your team. So there's all that sort of pressure that comes with it as well. I don't think it's going to be easy, okay, but it's definitely possible. Do I think we will win the league? I think we have a very good chance. I think us and Chelsea, I still say Chelsea's probably the team to beat and probably the benchmark of the league. But I think Liverpool are very good when they're form. I think Man City are very good. But I think United just have that bit of sense. And there's a bit of, not urgency to win a trophy, but a bit of like, hey, we can't be doing this for ages. We have to win a trophy, win a Premier League, win a Champions League to go, hey, we were crap for a while. Now we're here. So I think that's huge. The defense solidified. Like, yes, we're conceding goals here and there. David De Gea is back on form this season, coming off the penalty save. I think Varane was an exceptional signing. Arguably like my favourite signing of the summer, which is weird to say, but I think what he brings to that defence, and people say, oh yeah, but he hasn't been, blah, blah. Okay, once again, Victor Lindelof or Rafael Varane in that centre-back position. Yeah, no, I agree, exactly. Yeah, Rafael Varane, thank you. So, again, bang, Varane can come in. He can maybe, Lindelof can come in. All due respect to Lindelof, he's not terrible. Captain of Sweden, he's not terrible. He can come in, maybe get the job done. But you look at the game against Westwood, against West Ham, where we are under pressure. A lot of the times that defense cracks. Okay, Luke Shaw, we know what he's like, top player. Wan-Bissaka has kind of been exposed a bit this year with his lack of ability to put a ball in. If you put Trent Alexander-Arnold in that right back position, I know you're choosing one of the best right backs in the world, but if you put Trent Alexander-Arnold in that Manchester United team, him whipping balls into Ronaldo will make a grown man cry. So you can see he's kind of getting, and now with Ronaldo in that team, you can see that the tactics sort of there, the ambition to sort of find him and put it on his head to try and finish it and play to his strength. You can tell it's there, which is where, so like I was saying, Wan-Bissaka's kind of been a bit exposed. He can't really put a ball in as good. So on that sort of basis, what's going to let us down? I think it's well known the midfield is weak. Fred and McTominay, I don't know. I think the ambition sometime in the sense of, against West Ham, we went with McFred, and it's the worst kept secret of, okay, when we're playing with McFred, we maybe got to sit a little bit, wait for the plays to come to us, and suck, let's go. A good team says, nah, bring it on, baby. You know what I mean? A good team says, we can go and school this team. Against West Ham, we should be able to play them off the park. Or West Ham, I like them, good team, but we should be able to play them off the park. So it brings you that other sort of sense of, maybe we could beat ourselves, if you know what I mean. Maybe our confidence levels, maybe our authority levels to like sort of against the Man City say, no, bring it to us. We're going to bring it to you. You can bring it to us, and it's still going to be a fair playing ground. Okay, and I think the other one is I still don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows his best 11. And I mentioned before, competition is a good thing, but at the same time, if you don't have your starting 11, which you can just throw out, and you know that they're going to give you 100%, and you're confident in every single one of those 11 players, and that whole sort of format to work, could be in a little bit of trouble. Okay, because like there's so many alternatives we can do. And I know Chelsea maybe are the same. They can rotate players, but they've got a very distinctive system. I think it's completely different if you put Pogba in the midfield position next to Fred and Bruno in front, as opposed to putting Pogba on the left and McTominay and Fred in the midfield. Yes, it means we're going a little bit further back, but it means you sacrifice that left mid position. Because Pogba's maybe not. I do like him there, but you want him on the ball as much as you can. But you also, like I mentioned before, you got Rashford, Greenwood, Sancho, Lingard. It's chewing up that left mid spot. There's obviously a Donny van de Beek who, I feel sorry for him, but at the same time, hopefully he's going to get his chance one day, do a bit of a Jesse Lingard and prove haters wrong, score a couple goals, make some influential passes, gets a couple of assists under his name as well. So, and then on back of that, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'm Ole in. I like him, but at the same time, I think if we really wanted to go and challenge for every single title possible, I think Antonio Conte is the man. And speaking of someone that's a free target right now, I think Conte has got a better chance of doing that with Ole, and then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does. So, yeah, I think United's got to win the league. I want you to let me know down in the comments below. Do you think I'm just absolutely waffle? Have I jumped the gun? Is this bad? Or do you think, okay, maybe I've raised some good points. Maybe there could be some truth to it. Who, in your opinion, do you have winning the league? And once you do so, if you say Liverpool's winning the league, I want you to tell me down below who the biggest threat is. In your eyes, is Man City the biggest threat? Is Liverpool the biggest threat? I think all four of those teams, huge threats. But I personally think Chelsea, they're my ones to watch. They're definitely my ones to watch. So it's got to wrap it up for the Manchester United talk. For the Manchester United talk, it's got to wrap it up, and then we're going to get straight into Frouty's fantasy. So, everybody's favorite fantasy. Maybe some of you think I'm living in fantasy land right now, but Frouty's fantasy is just around the corner. Yes, Frouty's fantasy, aka everybody's favorite fantasy. I know, don't worry, it's a fact. It's not a guess, it's a fact, or a rumor, it's a fact. Now we've got to go into sign, sack, avoid. Once again, if you don't know what it is, one player I think you should sign, one player I think you should sack. So bid him out of your team, and one thing. Did I say avoid? I meant safe. I apologize. One player that I think is safe and you should maybe keep for another week. Now, to sign, I've got the Leeds man, Rafinha. And I was big on him at the start of the season, heading into it. If you caught for his fantasy then, I think Rafinha could be I thought at the time was going to be quite a decent player. Scored last week, a bit of a lucky goal, but we'll ignore it. But Leeds fixtures look quite decent. And I think Rafinha with Bamford not really firing and not really getting there, really, to say the least, I think Rafinha could be a very good signing to make, and 6.5 mil or somewhere around there, very cheap, can really bring him in for anyone. And if you stick around to see my team and the transfers that I'm going to make, this man is coming in. Bit of a spoiler. So I think Rafinha could be very good for you to sign. Now I'm going to go sack, and we're going to stick to the Brazilians because I've gone for Richarlison. Now I brought in Richarlison last week. Now's a perfect time to get rid of him. Didn't play. What a stupid thing to do. For those of you who did sell Antonio and you're looking to bring in someone else, I'm looking to bring him in. If Richarlison was your option and your plan to bring in and then to get out, done. Do it 100%. One thing I would say, bro, Trent Alexander-Arnold, like over, I think 100, when I looked at it, over 140,000 people have transferred Trent Alexander-Arnold out. Crazy scenes. So I think Richarlison definitely bit him off. Next up, we're going to go for a safe option. So keep him in your team. Sticking with Benrahma. I'm not going to maybe stick with him in 5 weeks' time, but I think for now you can stick to Benrahma, and I think you should be all sweet. I don't think there should be too many hassles. Obviously, Antonio coming back. Their fixtures are decent. They've got Leeds, Brentford, Everton, Tottenham, Villa, so there could be goals there, but they're not easy games. But they're not extremely difficult, if you know what I mean. So obviously scored a goal last week, which was very lucky too. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. Now, getting into my team, and last week, if you're not following the Instagram, I put up a post _1 nil. Oh my god, my Frouty's fantasy was in the mud. Frouty's fantasy was in the mud. So obviously I had Tanganga in, but he got a red card. So I had Williams, and I was just praying that Norwich could do something for me. No, they didn't. Trent Alexander-Arnold decided not to play because he got sick. Why are you getting sick, bro? You're a grown man. Why are you getting sick for? Trent Alexander-Arnold didn't play anything. Okay. Then Richarlison doesn't play. Then Ferran Torres doesn't play. What the fuck was I meant to do? Honestly, I was almost in tears. I was almost on my couch crying. So We'll get head into mine, and I'm going to buy a -4. I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to take the -4 because taking Richarlison out for Antonio, obviously, and Torres didn't play. They've got Chelsea. I'm thinking I'll take the -4 hit and bring in Rafinha. So I followed my own advice in the sign sack safe. So I think Rafinha's got to come in for Ferran Torres, which gives me a bit of cash to splash when I strengthen the defense. Now I've got a plan with the defense. I think you need to stack up on Chelsea. Not stack up, but you need to bring a Chelsea defender in. And I think Tony Rudiger, uh, Reece James could be a shout, and João Cancelo is also on my watch list. So if I can move around some players, maybe Shaw might have to sacrifice. Maybe I'll go a little bit weaker down back to bring in a Rudiger, something like that. I think I should be able to do that along the way. But for now, I think Richarlison out for Antonio, Torres out for Rafinha, and it's easy days. And hopefully, Leeds versus West Ham. So I'm hoping for a 5-5, 5 goals to Rafinha, 5 goals to Antonio, and 5 assists to Benrahma. So that's what I'm going to go into next week. As of now, I'm fairly confident that's what I'm going to do. So as I said, I'm going to take the -4 hit, unfortunately. But I think as of now, it's probably my best bet. I think probably the best option to do, because I've got some ground to make up after last week's very disappointing, very, very, very disappointing round. And for captain, United have got Villa, Southampton, Liverpool. Who are Liverpool playing again? Sorry, that's jokes. Liverpool have got Brentford. I think Mo Salah takes captaincy once again. So, but it's got to be a tough battle deciding who takes captain. But I think both of them. I think Salah might go in for the captain against Brentford once again. So that's going to wrap us up for Fruity's Fantasy. And if you watched the whole show, it's going to wrap us up for the 1 Nil Show. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining me for another show. It truly means a lot if you do make it this far. If you do tune in, please, if you are new, make sure to share it, spread the word. I'm going to smash out the content over the next couple of months heading into summertime here in Australia. So it's going to be huge vibes. Okay, please make sure to follow the _1nil on Instagram, follow the Twitter 1nil. I'm going to do all that business as well. Share with a friend, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Comment down below what you thought. Comment down below if this was a terrible video. Comment down below if it was an unbelievable video. I'm Costa. This is 1nil. Deuces.